There's a certain poetic symmetry in imagining Tim Duncan, the stoic, silent leader of the San Antonio Spurs dynasty, one day replacing Gregg Popovich as the head coach. It felt inevitable, a storybook ending, a clean torch passing from master to apprentice. But what if I told you Tim Duncan never wanted the job? What if greatness on the court doesn't automatically translate to the sideline? And what if Tim Duncan's decision to not coach is part of what makes his legacy even more untouchable?
Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green, down by one. Tim Duncan, he got fouled and one. Tipped after that great start. Oh, Tim Duncan.
On July 22, 2019, Spurs fans got the surprise of a lifetime. Tim Duncan was back, not as a player, but as an assistant coach under Gregg Popovich. This was no publicity stunt. It was a legitimate role. The greatest Spur of all time, back in the building, in an entirely new capacity. NBA Twitter lit up. Analysts speculated, was this the beginning of the transition? Was Duncan being groomed to take over once Pop stepped down? The idea made sense. Duncan had spent 19 years with one franchise. He led them to 5 championships. He was the Spurs' identity. Not flashy, not loud, but always dependable. If anyone embodied culture, it was Tim Duncan. And yet, less than 18 months later, he was gone. Let's rewind to March 3rd, 2020. Gregg Popovich misses a game for personal reasons, and suddenly, Tim Duncan is acting head coach for a night. The Spurs rally from 17 points down to beat the Charlotte Hornets 104-103. It was a vintage Spurs, methodical, calm, clinical, and Duncan barely cracking a smile. Just like old times, but that single win would be his only one as an acting head coach. Because deep down, Duncan already knew the truth. He would later say it wasn't the same adrenaline rush as being a player. The fire, that internal combustion engine that drove him through 19 NBA seasons, it didn't translate. Even in a win, he didn't feel it. Duncan's first test came even earlier, November 16, 2019. Pop got ejected against the Blazers. Duncan unexpectedly had to step up. The Spurs lost 121-116. Duncan later admitted he felt overwhelmed. He said, "I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready for substitutions, timeouts, all of that." And that's the thing. Great players like Duncan often make the game look too easy. But coaching? That's chaos. It's strategy, politics, rotations, pressure, and worst of all, no control over the outcome. You're not the one diving for loose balls. You're not boxing out or calling your own number. You're watching, reacting, hoping. Duncan's greatness came from his ability to internalize chaos and stay calm on the floor. But from the bench, that same calm can feel like detachment. Unlike so many former players, Duncan wasn't chasing legacy. He already had it. He had 5 rings, 3 finals MVPs, 2 league MVPs, and universal respect. After that, there's nothing more to prove. No itch left unscratched. And more importantly, coaching was never about ego for him. He didn't see the role as a natural progression of his playing career. He didn't want to chase Pop's ghost or try to fill impossible shoes. He wasn't looking to be the next Pat Riley or Steve Kerr. He was just trying something out, seeing if it clicked. And it didn't. He said later that it didn't grab me. And just like that, he walked away. No drama, no statement, no farewell tour. Only Tim Duncan could step away from the NBA twice. Once as a player, once as a coach, without fanfare, and somehow become more respected on both occasions. Duncan's short-lived coaching stint reminds us of an important truth. Being a great player doesn't automatically make you a great coach. We've seen it time and time again. Steve Nash was a 2-time MVP, but his Brooklyn Nets tenure fell apart, plagued by locker room chaos and tactical confusion. Magic Johnson lasted just 16 games as the Lakers head coach in the 90s. Even Larry Bird, who had some success coaching the Pacers, walked away after just 3 seasons. These players operated on a different frequency. They saw the game 2 or 3 steps ahead. but that doesn't mean they could teach it or wanted to. Coaching requires a love for the grind, the film room, the politics, the sleepless nights. Duncan had already done the 82-game grind for nearly 2 decades. He had nothing left to prove. Fast forward to 2025, Gregg Popovich, the winningest head coach in NBA history, officially steps down, citing health issues. It's the end of an era, and who's sitting in the front row at the press conference? Tim Duncan. Not as a coach, not as next in line, but as a pillar, a foundation, a reminder of what made the Spurs great in the first place. Even though he chose not to coach, Duncan has always been there, helping with workouts, mentoring players, and maintaining the Spurs' legendary culture from the shadows. He never needed the title, his presence was more than enough. In a way, Tim Duncan's legacy is even stronger because he never coached. There's no blemish, no failed stint, no bad win-loss record attached to his name. We remember him for what he was, the big fundamental, the unshakable rock of a dynasty, the guy who beat Shaq and Kobe, LeBron and Wade. And more than everything, we remember him for being authentic and the greatest power forward we have ever seen. He didn't force a new chapter just because the storybook ending looked neat. He stayed true to himself. He didn't want the spotlight as a coach. He didn't want to chase Pop's shadow. He didn't want to chase the adrenaline that wasn't there. And because of that, we can say something rare in sports. Tim Duncan left the game exactly the way he lived it, on his own terms. Forever a Spur, forever respected, and forever untouchable. But what do you guys think? Would Tim Duncan have made a great head coach if he gave it more time? Or was walking away the most Duncan thing he could have ever done? Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe for more upcoming NBA storytelling, and be sure to stick around because we have more videos coming your way every week. My name is Damian Peters, this is Basketball Network, and we'll see you in the next one.